sisters. How are you all? Hang on. I'm not liking that. Let's see if I can rest you against here. Hello. All right, maybe that'll work a bit better. All right, ladies, welcome, welcome, welcome. It is November. It is self-acceptance month in the Feminine Rising. And this is the time of year when we get really social, right? Christmas parties, school holidays, celebration of the year that is coming to an end. And, you know, we drink a bit more, we eat a bit too much. And I know that for me personally, my exercise is no longer a priority. It's a gluttonous time of year and it's glorious, you know? But how do you treat your body at this time of the year? Do you let yourself go and just enjoy the silly season, or do you stay strict on yourself and try not to put your hard work to shame? Maybe you can find a middle path and practice moderation over these times. For me personally, it does change every single year. It depends how busy I've been, how stressful the last few months have been, and I've been known to go a little bit overboard and then, you know, whoops, there goes the bikini bod. But this month I am wanting to treat you to a deep understanding of what self-acceptance can mean to you and how it can feel. And so we can start to shift unhealthy patterns in our mind and in our body on how we treat ourselves now and always. So today is part 1 of 4. Week 1 of 4 for this month of self-acceptance. And we are starting with a talk on mindset. So what is a mindset? Your mindset is a set of beliefs that shape how you make sense of the world and yourself. It influences how you think, feel, and behave in any given situation. So let's link this now to our theme of the month. Self-acceptance. Insecurities. We all have them. The media perpetuates them. Businesses profit from them. It's time to get real with our insecurities around our body and how the world has shaped us and our mindset. We are a product of our environment. None of us have been protected from social media, TV, magazines, books, and movies. Remember back to how unconcerned we were about our physical appearance when we were young kids. Nothing mattered too much. We weren't worried about our clothing, how other kids maybe perceived us. We just wanted to play and have fun. And as we get older and we start to get influenced by the world around us, these insecurities start to form in our mind and in our body. Everything we consume has a lasting impact on our precious minds, forming our worldview, forming our values, and forming our identities. None of us are born with insecurities. We are taught them, we are told them, and we are sold them. Social media, designed to exploit human vulnerability. The news, created to exploit our fears. Modern marketing exploits our vulnerabilities for the profit of these big companies. Slim women cover every magazine, ads telling you that you must dress, smell, look a certain way or else you won't find a partner, you won't find love, you won't have a happy life. No wonder we can't accept our natural selves. We have been brainwashed into believing that we can never be good enough. You might think, I never buy into the shit that they're telling me, you know, the backwards advertising to make me feel inadequate. Well, good for you. Hell yes to you. But I have to tell you that you are still a part of the system that they've created, and even if we feel like we don't believe or get influenced by them, we still retain all of the marketing propaganda in our psyche. So what can we do to understand this and release ourselves from this sticky web that they've caught us in? First step is being aware how this destructive system works. You do get this, right? They create the problem, they create the solution, and then they sell us these things that we never even needed in the first place, manipulating us to believe we aren't good enough or worthy enough to have this or don't have that. If we don't have this or we don't have that. Secondly, is be mindful of what you consume. Let's talk about social media because this is a huge one. It is really hard to scroll through your newsfeed and not compare yourselves to the other women you see. A photo that is a split second of this woman's life captured, and then we will compare our whole day to this image. The women in these photos, they may look extremely beautiful, happy, in love, fit, sexy, but what can you really tell from an image that is most likely not a true representation of their life, and 99% of the time has been either photoshopped, edited, or even just had a filter flapped over the top? So seeing these photos, your mind might start the negative cycle. Why am I not this happy? Why can't I do what she's doing? Why can't I look like that? Why can't I find a relationship that looks like this one? Why? I believe that we do this vicious cycle because it is a lot easier to look externally than it is to look internally. It's easier to look outwards to what other people are doing rather than spending that time and energy on yourself, comparing yourself to, say, who you were yesterday, who you were a week ago, a month ago, a year ago. A simple exercise that I want you to do right now with me is to look at yourself right now and think, wow, Ricky has come so far in her journey of self-discovery and self-acceptance in the last year. Compare yourself to yourself. And I also want to invite you to go on an unfollowing spree, a giant purge of shitty content and inauthentic accounts. Unfollow all the pages, the accounts, the hashtags that make you feel shit about yourself. Fill your stories and your newsfeed with inspiring, real, authentic, relatable, vulnerable people. People and accounts that help you stay focused on what's truly important and that align with how you want to feel. Thirdly, trends come and go, and we must understand this. The definition of a trend is a general direction in which something is developing or changing. It's always changing, especially with body image and what we get told is the epitome of beauty. We spend so much time, energy, and money trying to get ourselves to this place of fitting in with the trend, and then it changes. What an exhausting process, honestly. When you look back to ancient artworks and women in, say, like Renaissance times, the women are curvy. They've got, a little bit of fat, like I don't even want to call it that, but they are curvy. They are natural looking women. And not to say that slim cannot be your natural, but in the context of here, back then women were curvy and that was beautiful. Fast forward to the 90s, say, and models are just stick thin, and that's what was beautiful. Now, in 2021, we must be extremely voluptuous. Big chest, big booty, and a tiny, tiny little waist in order to be sexy. Oh my God. To me, nothing is sexier than the true confidence which comes from self-acceptance. And you know when a woman owns her truth, she walks into a room and you can just feel that oozing off her, that radiance, that confidence. And you think that she's sexy and she's beautiful and she's a goddess. And it wouldn't matter what her body looks like. Something that I really struggled with growing up was these little red dots, lumps on my body, and they covered the back of my upper arm and my thighs and inner thighs. And I was so self-conscious of them. I didn't like having to wear my skirt, like the girls' school uniform, and I would try to wear the boys' long, short uniforms as much as I could to cover my body. And if we had to get changed, you know, I'd make sure that no one was watching. I'd turn around. Another thing I struggled with was when I started going through puberty and getting body hair. I was so bullied in high school for having blonde leg hairs and 2 armpit hairs. So much so that I asked my mum to teach me how to shave. Also, my stomach. You would never catch me. I would never be caught dead wearing anything skin tight. I mean, unless I was at dancing and I had to be in a leotard for ballet, but I would cover my body. When I went to the beach and I was wearing a bikini, I'd cover my body when I walked because I thought that it would wobble and people would be looking at me. And there was absolutely nothing wrong with any of these parts of me, but I had been so conditioned by the media, by movies, by my peers, that I believed that these things were gross, ugly, not worthy. So back to our point, trends come and go. The lumps on my arms, they faded away as I grew older. Body hair became a natural, beautiful thing that even I feel now today is becoming more mainstream to have natural body hair. And this little pudge of skin on my belly that I was so worried about and bullied about is now sexy. In the trend of today, shapeliness is sexy. If only I could go back and let teenage Ricky know that trends change. Now that we know how the world works, now that we know to be mindful of what we consume, and now we understand that trends come and go, what do I really care about, and what do I want to be? What do I want to value myself on? These questions are so much more important than the things that we believe make us who we are. So 4th is know your value. Know what you value. The way that you measure yourself is how you are going to measure others and how you assume others are measuring you. If you measure your life based on looks, you believe that if someone is nice to you, it's because of your looks. And if you believe that if someone is mean to you, it's because they're jealous of your looks. So how do you measure your life? I can look back now and say that validation was a huge thing that I measured my worth on when I was younger. I was successful when I had a lot of friends, when everybody liked me, when I got hit on at the club. I would act the way that I knew people wanted me to so that I would fit in, I was accepted, and I was liked. These friendships and these relationships didn't last, obviously, because I was not being authentic. In turn, I didn't know who I really was. I didn't know how to just be me. And don't get me wrong, I do feel like I've always had a connection to my authenticity and my morals, but I definitely had a bumpy ride with truly accepting all of me and living in this truth all of the time. Hell, like sometimes I still find myself falling back into these old habits in certain situations, and that's okay. It's all part of the journey. Excuse me. Choking on your spit. All right, let's tie this into self-acceptance. Why is it that we can be so accepting of our friends and our families and even strangers when we can be so critical on ourselves? Why can we see past their flaws? See past the flaws of the women around us and see their beauty, but we only judge and criticize ourselves? Sometimes I like to share in my Naked Awakening women's workshops that if you are struggling to see the beauty in yourself, but you can so easily see it in the other women that are in the room, a great thing to do is to start treating yourself like you are your best friend. You wouldn't care what size your best friend is, what she's wearing, if she had pimples on her face, body hair, etc. You would still love her because you know who she is inside and you love her for who she is. So treat yourself as your best friend. That's unconditional love. Fifth, we have embrace imperfection. So a passage from Brené Brown's book, The Gifts of Imperfection, reads as this. Perfectionism is a self-destructive and addictive belief system that fuels this primary thought. If I looked perfect and do everything perfectly, I can avoid or minimize the painful feelings of shame, judgment, and blame. I felt shame. I felt judged, and I blamed my body for it. I think a lot of my insecurities around my body came from being so bullied in school for just being me, but also the women that I was surrounded by growing up. And, it didn't help that I was a dancer. That environment is quite toxic around body image and what you have to look like. So it is so hard to fall in love with the woman that you are growing into when everyone around you says that she's not good enough. Or at least when I was younger, that's how I perceived a lot of it. As I got older, and only with in hindsight, I realized that all of that bullying was a projection of these kids' their own insecurities. But you don't know that when you're in it, when you're young. At least I didn't. I think a lot more children are a lot more self-aware these days. But me, I was late to the party of growing up like that. So that's how I perceived it all. And even if you have parents who try to tell you this and teach you this as you are growing up, this stuff is really hard to comprehend when you are a young teen going through puberty, getting bullied for just being you. We are all perfectly imperfect, and self-acceptance isn't something that you can achieve overnight. It is something that you are going to work on every day of your life. If there are things that you want to change about your body, that is your choice too. You can definitely go down the path of medical procedures if this will bring you true lasting happiness, but not from a place of changing who you are to fit into someone else's ideal of perfection. I have women in my life that have gone down this path for both of those reasons. And the ones who did it for themselves are still happy and still content in who they are. And the women I know that have had these procedures done for, say, a partner who has asked them to do it, or to fit into a group of people that they want to be part of that crowd, have now drifted away from that crowd, or the trends have changed and now their body is, stuck again in they've got to go and change it again, or then they've got to learn to live with what they've got. You know what I'm saying, right? I hope you do. Don't focus on the things that you can't change. Focus on the things that you can change. Your mindset. And this is what we're going on about today. Sixth is gratitude. How much time do you actually spend every day looking at someone else's life, comparing it to yours, feeling that you aren't enough, don't have enough, need or want more? Now I'm going to blow your mind here. Think about how many women are actually out there looking in at your life, wanting what you have. That happens. That is a real thing. Just like you are looking at a woman's body on the beach thinking, oh, she looks beautiful in those togs. Oh, her shape is incredible. In her mind, she's probably thinking, oh, I'm really fat today. Everyone's out here, they're looking at me, looking at my rolls, my cellulite. You're seeing her beauty. And she might even look up the beach at you at one point, and you're there laughing with your friends, and she goes, I wish I was as happy in my skin as that lady. We don't know what's going on in people's minds, but most of the time, everyone is more focused on their own shit to even be not concerning themselves with what you look like. It's crazy, right? Why can't we see the value in what we have? We're going to look around our space right now, wherever you are watching this video from. And what can you be grateful for today? And I want you to say it out loud. Pause this video and look around your space and say, I'm I'm grateful to have this space to share my teachings from. I'm grateful for having a family who supports my dreams. I'm grateful for this growing community of incredible women who I can share and be authentic and vulnerable to. I'm grateful to be on my journey of self-acceptance. I'm grateful to have this body that no matter what I've put her through has continued to carry me. Say as many as you want, the more the better. And then we're going to take in a deep breath. We're going to smile and exhale. You can even start to feel those little shifts in your body when you focus and acknowledge and be grateful for the things that you have already right now. Lastly, what is really going to matter to you when you're old? When you're 80 years old, your youth has faded, your external beauty has faded, you're wrinkled, you can't move your body like you used to, your body has completely changed. What are you truly going to care about here? Are you still going to be comparing yourself to the Instagram models and influencers who seem to have everything? Probably not. What will be important to you when you're old? How will you measure your life? From your inner beauty, from your values, from your experiences, the risks you've taken, the challenges you've overcome, the friendships that you have made that have lasted as long as you have lived. It puts a lot into perspective when you think about it in this way. So breathe in all of this information, take it with a grain of salt. What works for you won't work for everyone. What works for me won't work for you. So take from this talk whatever has resonated with you today. And it's not even a bad idea to come back over time and re-listen to these videos. Go through the self-acceptance month again, and you will take different things every time because you have lived different experiences. You're maybe further along on your journey. And so yeah, take whatever resonates with you today, sister. It's the beginning of a big month of self-acceptance. And maybe you want to use some of the questions that I have shared during this talk to journal from, to really get self-reflective before we dive even further into this experience. I'm really excited to be alongside you on this month, this journey of self-acceptance. Pardon me. I can't wait for next week where I'm going to be guiding you through a self-massage ritual. So if you have yet to even watch the intro video for this month, which was a letter to your body, writing a letter to your body, I really would love you to do that first. So starting off with the letter to your body, today is part 1 of 4 of the self-acceptance month, and next week we've got our self-massage. So please leave in the comments what you took from this talk today, what resonated with you. If you have any other different opinions or any other advice that you can offer, I want to hear it too. I want to share in every moment of this experience with you. #replay if you are watching it again in the future, and I will see you very, very soon. And yay to self-acceptance month. Love you, sisters. Have a beautiful Wednesday.